history in court, in the court that he was in, and then in the court of the judges. But I always thought that this distinction between history as storytelling, as narrative, with some kind of narrative coherence, and history in court was a flimsy one because of the way a court works, the rules of evidence, and the goal of having a trial determine. There's no Wahrheitsanspruch. It's not about truth in the courts. It's really not about a judgment, the pursuit of truth either, just as storytelling is not about the pursuit of truth. It's about winning an argument, creating a narrative which is based on facts which are acknowledged to be partial, and that truth is often, evidence is often not allowed because of reasons that reflect the mores of the society that you're in. So I think the first, I don't know how essential that first distinction is to your final argument, but I find it problematic.
No, first of all, the issue of evidence in court is an interesting case, and you raised a real concern, namely in court there is what is called inadmissible evidence. For example, a testimony in many legal systems, a wife cannot testify against her husband even if she has highly relevant evidence. Now, there are constraints on evidence, whereas if you try to get the true history, there shouldn't be constraints of that kind of on evidence. But I think the issue is not whether the court is a good model or not in general. I think that the issue is winning arguments, and the claim is that once the arguments, at least in an adversarial system, the arguments for the defense and the arguments for the prosecution, then there is a judge or juries to evaluate it all. And my claim that all those models have shortcomings, serious shortcomings, and still I believe that the best model for history is narrative history, which tries to make sense of the past, not just to tell what happened, but to make sense, how it was viewed from the point of view of the people involved. And that's, I think, something which is awfully important. But all I'm saying is not that, it's basically what I'm saying is a Wittgensteinian point about being, that's his expression, being in a grip of a picture, namely that we cannot shape the world without middle-sized objects, or even we cannot think about the time without thinking about it as a river of time. The minute you think about time as a river, you get right away into many paradoxes. What is the rivered bed of the time? Mm. And there are all sorts of, or what does it mean this time is fast? It went fast, it went slow. I mean, the minute you form, we have a picture of the time as a river, which is a powerful picture. We can't even think about ourselves of not thinking in terms of time as a river unless you are a physicist. And yet, we should be aware that this leads to very paradoxical point of view about the world. And my point was that something like it happens in viewing history as a court. That was basically